Okay, my name is Van. I'm 30 years old, and I'm from Japan. Japanese. Why did you come to Hollywood? Was going to be a movie star, you know, with modeling and acting. And you know, after 100 or 2 auditions and small parts, you know, I decided, you know, I had enough and just stopped doing that and I started out doing massages, advertising in papers, and then I get into escort work. And it just somehow, you know, the clients, the clientele stammers, I was getting, requested a lot of fetishes, so, I just decided to go you know, full master and change my whole entire house into a dungeon and so that's what I'm doing right now. I'm dungeon master with a full dungeon in my house and it's going really well. Did you decided to specify in that particular area mainly because you felt that would be the most lucrative financially? Number. If I want to be, you know, I want to do something lucracious financially, I would get into computer science or if I see a guy walking down the street with a tattoo or some leather on, it's like, it just draw attention to me and I can't stop looking at them. That's just, even if I try to look away, it just is, attraction. I can't explain it, it's chemistry. So, I think, I don't know, I can't explain it. And it's all that interests me. What about being a master? Did that always interest you? Yeah, because I'm a control freak. I was in relationship, a couple of them, and I was told that I was a control freak. You know, I was bossing people around, so I think it's my nature and just natural that you know, I'm a master and I don't enjoy getting tied up or being a bottom. So, I guess, you know, it's part of my personality. Okay. You just lost my train of thought. So how much money do people pay you and what do they get for it? Oh, it's depend. Give me some examples. Well, if you have my sessions, the bottom line is $150 per hour. That's just for a regular guy, you know, just a regular office guy and, you know, I have the Hollywood Hills type, I pay $300 an hour and then, you know, the 50% for additional half-an-hour increments. You know, how long the session takes. And it depends on what they like to do, you know. You know, until like gold shower or shower shock in the shower, you know, stuff like that. Extra stuff I charge more. But basically the bondage stuff and the whipping yeah, it just, somewhere between $150 to $300 an hour. It's kind of weird, because you're playing the master, but you actually do what they want you to do. Well, the thing is, they have to tell me ahead of time and once they step through my door, then, you know, I'm the master. But actually, you're right, they're the master when they call me up and hire me. And you know, make all these requests, but they're not allowed to make requests once they're in my dungeon, because they're the for 100% total submission. And some of them would test me, you know, like you know, ask them to answer me, you know, and they wouldn't, and I just beat the shit out of them, because they just want to test to see how tough I am. But yeah, but in my dungeon, I'm the master. You know, the time you're with me, you know, it's 100% submission, total submission. So and there's no getting out. Stammers, well, if it's getting out of hand and they want to stop, then they can just tell me the safe word and I'll stop. I'll give them time to recover, but that's it. What is the safe word? It depends. You know, mine is mercy, you know, it's not very original, but they can have their own, you know. Do you let them? What do they get to do to you? They can make requests at the beginning of the session, you know. They want to like suck my cock or lick my ass, or just muscle worship, you know, just to put oil on my body. But you know, that's about it. I don't reciprocate any of that, because I'm the master. And I think just sucking someone's cock, that's pretty much in a submission area, and I don't do that. Do you ever fuck them? Yeah, I do. I get off on that, too. I get all my aggression out on that. How often do you end the session by coming? About 20%. Can you pretend? Words, mumbled. Tell me that again and incorporate my question into your answer. How often do you come in your sessions? Oh, they never ask me to come, in my sessions. It's up to me. It depends on if I really get into the session. I get really horny, then I'll come. Stammers, it doesn't. The guy doesn't have to be, gorgeous, or young, enough to turn me on. It's just something about the guy. He could be older, he could be a little bit fat, but just something about him, just that really gets me horny, and then I would come, but that's about 20% of the time, and I don't, if they call me ahead of time and say that you have to, you have to blow your wad, at the end of the session, I say, no, I don't have to do anything I don't want to, I'm my own boss and I'm getting, so many calls for this, I make the rules. How much money a week do you make? Laughs. Oh, I can make a lot more, but I'm lazy. I can do a session, average actually a session a night, but I can do at least 3 a day if I want to. But I get lazy, and it's not as much physically demanding, but it's psychology demanding for me. It's exhausting afterwards. I think for the both of us. Stammers, but, I'm a simple guy. I don't need much to live on. So, I don't need that much, I don't need to drive a BMW. So 1 session a day is enough for me, but, if I feel really, I don't know, if I feel like working, I can take up 3 easily, and usually, 1 during the day with someone, on their lunch break, and want to run over real quick for 45 minutes or an hour, I can always count on that on the lunch break. And then in the evening, like later on, around 11, people get the urges and they call me. And that's about it, I'm pretty much easygoing, Do you think that what do you think about Hollywood, and do you think that Hollywood breeds a certain kind of guy that gives you a lot of business? Stammers, I think I would do well anywhere, in the Midwest. I don't think it has anything to do with Hollywood. People out there doing the 9 to 5 and living in their own little boxes, and they just need to get away from that. And if you have a stressful job, a stressful life, and you just want to just escape for a while, live in your own fantasy for 1 hour, doesn't matter where you are. So, I can do well anywhere. Are there ever any guys who walk in the door that are so hot that in a way you'd rather be them be the master? Truthfully, I do, but usually those huge bodybuilder type. Laughs, and I'm dating a couple right now, like these steroid out, huge bodybuilders and their bottoms, they love to get fucked. So, I haven't met one yet that, it's something in their personality that makes me want, to be a slave to them, a bottom to them. They just love that ass play. So I haven't really met one. I met a regular guy, but, I think you have be both. I think you have to be incredible and you have that, that masculinity that attracts me, and I haven't ran into that. I'm rambling on. Laughs. Do you ever have any sexual relationships that are outside of the whole SM arena? What do you mean? Like in a relationship, a boyfriend relationship? Yeah, I had one for 3 years. And he's, he makes porn movies, so, I think, guys like me, we can only, date or, have boyfriends who are in the same kind of business, otherwise, it's not fair for the other person. What's the weirdest thing anybody's ever asked you to do? Gosh, I'm really open-minded. I can, nothing, the requests, I don't get freaked out by it, but, scat kind of freaked me out. But, like, but, I have a price for everything. But scat is my limit in my dungeon, it's like, I'm not really into scat. It's like when, scat is when, it's shit, that's what it is. And if somebody wants me to take take a dump on them, or something like that, it's like, no, but $2,000. Laughs, tell me where. But that's my limit, right there. But I've seen it all, But nothing really freaks me out, really, I'm pretty much. Do you have people who want to be fist fucked? Oh, yeah, I like that. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Is there a way that, how much does it cost? What do you do? Describe that for me. Fisting is $300 and usually the guy's pretty much high on pop or, to really get relaxed, and I have this long, latex glove that goes all the way up to my armpit and then I put on a surgical latex glove, just up to my wrist and just lube it up and it's a long process, to get your whole arm up there. But it's an intense feeling for the other person. I think for myself too, it's, you're going places that even though it's physical with your hand, but for some reason it's also more emotional. It's more psychological too, and we both get, reach the same place. It's really strange. At the same time, and I found session like that, I get really exhausted at the end. How? Stammers, tell me more about it. What do you mean by why does it take so long, for example, and can someone be high on poppers during that whole time? Yeah, isn't that kind of dangerous? They're used to it, they have to be, otherwise, they can't relax enough to, Stammers, well, this is my experience. I don't know if, some other guys probably can do it without the poppers, but, the ones that came to me, usually, they need the poppers, dump it in the socks, stuff it in the face and then just stay there the whole time. And it takes a while to loosen up, and you just don't reach in there. Laughs, you take your time, you ease yourself into it. And they want you to, they want the tease, they want you, they don't want you to just reach in there and, just move your hands around. They want, they want the tease, like, no, I'm not going to reach my arm in there, tonight, today, I'm just going to play with your asshole, and then they'll be begging me, and it's just, stammers, it's a whole psychological game, and I will tell them no, I don't feel like maybe 3 fingers for you today, because I'm not really in the mood, and they'll beg me and I'll just tease them for like maybe 10 minutes and just work myself in, they love, prostate massage, usually I touch that and they will just blow their wads. So, do you ever get nervous that you're going to hurt them, or you're going to, what might come out when you pull your hand out? Well, laughs, with the guys, my slaves, they're people who are into fist fucking, they're pros by now. If they can handle, this much up their ass, they've been doing it for years and they know how to clean out their ass really well. So, I have never ran into a problem where, accidents or anything like that. And as far as hurting them, it's, I can ease in, and I can feel their limit, and it's not like right away. It'll take me 15 minutes and I can tell whether I can go further or not. You kind of develop that skill, laughs, with experience. So, of course, you reach in there and, try to, really fast, you cannot do harm, but, you just take it slow, and, it's pretty safe. it's very safe. Did you ever think this was what you do when you grow up? You know, strangely enough, I always loved sex, even when I was like a little kid. So, you have to love sex and it's just like I don't know, in the back of my mind, I think I do, you know. I have dreams about being in movies and making porn movies and, you know, when I was a teenager and, you know, remember back in the olden days when you go to the theater and they used to play that in there, on the huge movie screen, it's like, oh, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. You know, that's in my heart, but then, you know, for everybody else, you know, stammers, I want to be an architect, you know, so, like I have to go to college and be an architect, just for, you know, just to keep up with the Joneses down the street. But, deep down, you know, I just want, you have to love sex, and I always, you know, I can never get enough sex. So, it's perfect for me. Do your parents know what you do? Number, but if they find out, it's no big deal, because dad is a biker, laughs, and you know, they're hippies, so they're pretty much open-minded. You know, we used to go around nude beaches together, you know, and be nude in front of each other. So, it's no big deal. So why haven't you told them? They never. I don't know. If they asked me I would tell them. It's just something I don't, you know, like come running home to mom and dad and say, hey, mom and dad, I just, you know, I'm a dungeon master, I beat the shit out of people for a living, you know. I don't. What do they think you do? Laughs, oh, they, stammers, they think I'm a waiter in Hollywood, trying to make it big as a movie actor. But maybe now, they know, laughs. Hi, there. They could. Yeah? Okay. Pause. So how long do you think you'll do this? Well, dungeon masters, they can do it for a long time. You know, you can be in mid-40s and can still do really well. I have 15 years, laughs. So, I really don't worry too much about it. By then, you know, I can buy a house. You know, find me a little slave and we just move into the country somewhere, I guess. But it's a long time from now. Are there lots of dungeon masters in Los Angeles? How many would you say there are? How big is the scene? How many clients do you have? We have this meeting like once a month, or once every 2 months, and this guy up in the Hollywood Hills, he has this incredible dungeon, it's amazing and we would go there for dinner and usually there was 10 dungeon masters, you know, professional, and we would sit around having dinner in his dungeon, a formal dinner, you know, in leather, and we would have slaves serving us and usually those slaves are just escorts from the magazine, and you know, we hire them for an evening to service dinner and maybe we'll play around with them afterwards. How many clients do I have? I don't want to think too much about that, because if I tried to figure out the actual number, it's not going to be enough and I would freak out and I'll say, oh, maybe I should work more, or if the number's too large and, it's like, oh, my god, I have too many, I don't want to take any more. So, I don't think about the client base, I just don't want to think about that. I'm not a businessman. You know, laughs. You're not a businessman. If you're not a businessman, what are you? I'm an artist. Sadly, I'm a performance artist. And I'm hired to for people to fulfill their fantasies, their deep dark fantasies. But you know, these sessions, they don't all have to really involved. Some guy just want to put on leather, you know, costumes for them, and, you know, they'll get off on that. You know, no pain involved, and that's alright with me too, you know. And then there's some, you know, like, some corporate bankers want to have, you know, welts on their back for 3 weeks, you know. They want scars back there, they want to, you know, They want to touch it at the office, when they're really stressed out and they just want to get away from the reality. They'll reach back there and just touch the pain that Van just gave them, maybe a week ago. And just escape for a little bit. So, all different type of clients. What's the most harm you've ever done to someone physically? I broke my bamboo stick on this guy's back. Laughs, and he refused to say the password, the safe word, and I just got really pissed off and I start kicking the shit out of him. Because he think that he try and test my strength and that really makes me angry. And until he almost passed out before, he said, green, that was his password. He said, green, and I stopped. And he got pretty, he got pretty. I have a bad temper, I'm a really nice guy, but easygoing, but I also, there sides of me that I have a really bad temper. And, you don't fuck with me, especially when I'm in the dungeon, because, you're a slave, you're a nothing, you're nobody, your purpose in life at that moment in point, is to try to get my love, my appreciation, but don't test me in my dungeon, because I get pissed off and I can go off on him. So that's what happened to that guy, but that's what he wanted, so therefore, it's, it's not like it's my fault. He wanted that. He wanted me to beat the shit out of him, and it's a safe environment to do too, because you can't go out in the street and start a fight because they could kill you there, They can pull out a gun and blow your brain out. But in my dungeon, it's safe, because, to a point, you can stop any time. So, have you ever had any celebrities or entertainment people? You don't have to tell me who they are. Oh, okay, I do. Producers or actors. And writers, a lot of writers. Yes, cue all of them. Well, this one, director, he's very famous. And he's supposed to be really straight and he's really obnoxious. Like when I see him on TV, interviews and stuff, and he's kind of like, be overly straight and overly obnoxious. And when he show up at my door, he's like this little pussy, this little queenie pussy, and I just can't wait to get him into my dungeon, because I'll just beat the shit out of him, because I just want to take him out, because he really pisses me off to see him, on TV, acting like that. Like E.T., Entertainment Tonight, with his cigar and, really, very sunset type kind of guy, but yeah, they get really nervous when they see me in public, especially at the movies, I got to the man's Chinese theater to watch movies sometimes and I see them and they get really nervous. So, I just like to, just mess with them a little bit, like I'll stand near them, but won't say anything. That's the policy of mine. I don't approach my clients in public. I don't acknowledge them. It's up to them to come up to me, if they want to, say hi, or then I'll be friendly to them, but, I'm just a total stranger, in public. And they know that ahead of time. If I know them famous, I'll tell them that. I say, you don't have to worry about it, I'll just leave you alone. If you want to say hi to me, then you can, and I'll acknowledge you. I have no problem, even, stammers, even if I'm with friends. But laughs, I don't feel very comfortable talking about that, about this subject. So, my name is Van, I'm your dungeon master, number 90. Well, this is my favorite whip, that's why I brought it. Made out of bicycle tubing, bicycle tires. I just like the sound it makes on the flesh, on my own flesh. It's a very heavy thud that I like. Do people beg you for you to use different instruments on them? Not while they're in my, dungeon. They would tell me that ahead of time. But most of the time they're gauged anyway, so they can't say anything. Laughs. So, do you talk to them when you're done? Like, for example, like what? Like when you're done, do you say, "That was kind of great, want a cup of coffee?" No, number. Usually they thank me for the session and I'll give them maybe 10 minutes to recover and, they want to take a shower, especially during the day when they have to get back to work. Then they'll take a shower, a quick shower, and then they get out. But I don't socialize too much, like, small conversations. I don't do that too much with my slaves. I'm not interested in, their life stories, and I don't think they're interested in mine either. What's in your dungeon? My dungeon? Well, there's 3 rooms. One is for Japanese torture. Rock garden has a huge rock boulder in the middle of it, and they can get torture in the middle of the room. It's very minimal. And there's a Chinese room. It's like an opium den. Everything is red, and I do some bondage stuff in there. And then my main dungeon is the lab. I call it the lab because it's all white and mirrors everywhere. Laughs. A toilet. People love to like the toilets, so I have a toilet with chrome parts and a glass lid. Very high class. Very, very Beverly Hills. And they love to pee in that all lick. Well, usually I pee in it and they get off on watching me pee in it. They love to lick the toilet, and I have a stirrup chair. Laughs. If you want to get rectal examination, you have to get in a stirrup chair. That's the only way to do it. I do videotape my clients if they want to, because I sell it. So I have, a couple of digital cameras set up, and they get off on watching them on TV, doing the session. And sometimes I get pissed off, and I whip them harder and say, look at me, and stuff, look at the fucking TV. But I do videotape them, so a lot of camera equipment is in there. But they laughs. The famous people don't like that too much, so I have to drag it all out when they come over, because the minute they see a camera, they freak out. But the local exhibitionists, they just love that camera. So, that's about, it's the lab. Everything's white floor, white walls, white on white. And that's, you feel like it's either hell or heaven. You can't tell. You can't tell if you're in hell or you're in heaven when you're in my space. It can be either or both. Alone on camera. Oh, it's kind of relief actually. After this interview, I feel like, even though I have a mask on, I feel kind of naked. But it's a big relief because I feel like my friends and my family can, at least, if they find out, it's okay. Now I don't feel like I have to hide it from them anymore. Laughs. But, it's funny, I feel that way, but I still have a mask on. So, I can't explain that. I'm a visual kind of person. So, I give performance art and very visual oriented. And, I've never thought about I never intellectualized about my career, what I do as a dungeon master. I don't even think about it. Until now, this interview kind of make me think about it, and, I had to answer some questions and, I don't know, I feel kind of, naked. Because I'm looking at myself for the first time, I think. Well, not myself, but this aspect of my life for the first time. And, it's been, gosh, 3 to 5 years already. I never thought about it. Kind of sad, I think. I feel kind of sad right now. I don't know why. Pause, it's interesting to think, like questions like, why I want to be a dungeon master. I'm surprised. Now I'm curious to find out, like why do people want to come to me and get, why do they want to get beat up? Laughs. Yeah, I don't think too much about it. Pause, having second thoughts now. because I don't know how far this is going to go. I mean, is this going to come back and bite me in the ass sometime? But, that's how I do, that's how I handle my life. I just take things one day at a time, really don't think too much about it. There's no big plan or anything, If it turns out good, then it's fine. If it's shitty then, it's a life lesson, you move on. So, I don't where this interview is going to go. I don't give a shit, pause, but you're curious, come see my web, stammers, my website,